despite the fact that coal has become a controversial energy generation resource in recent times, it does remain an important commodity that still has a key role to play in the development of South Africa's economy, as well as the country's future energy mix. So on that note, can you expand on this and unpack the status quo of coal in South Africa for me?
Coal remains the number one source of power in South Africa at the moment, and it's the lifeblood of the economy. And also through Eskom, it has the largest electricity producing capacity, mostly from coal. So from that perspective, coal is critically important for the country. And second biggest user of coal is Sasol. They do the liquid fuel from coal, and they do most of their liquid fuel from coal in South Africa. They're the largest in the world. And so from that perspective, they're the second biggest user. And also, other than Eskom and Sasol, South Africa, through its export, because the production is surpassing the demand, it is a big exporter in the world. Through RBCT, it exports about, like last year, it was 70 million tons. In 2019, it was 72 million tons export. And it kind of generated overall, not only exports, but about 133 billion rand total sales in coal in South Africa, including export, Eskom and Sasol, and industrial use. And I think production was over 250 million tons in 2020. So that's the status quo.
Perfect. Obviously, from what you've told me, there is still a lot of value in coal. But other than what we've already spoken to, what do you believe the biggest value in coal lies, and why is there so much value in coal still today?
So, like, to understand the value of coal for South Africa, I think we should imagine South Africa without coal power generation for a few days. I think the whole economy is going to collapse. There won't be power. That is critical for all industries, for households, for hospitals, and so it's critical for South African economy, industry, and life that we get our power from Eskom through burning coal. So from that perspective, it's really very important. And then with the absence of cheaper sources to produce power, like gas and nuclear power, I think coal becomes really relevant to make sure that we produce power at a cheap rate and we provide power consistently and reliably. So I think unless humanity finds a different way of storing renewable energy at a cost competitive way, fossil fuels will be the way to produce most of the load in the world. And for South Africa, because we don't have gas and nuclear power is extremely expensive, and we built the infrastructure over decades, and it was really expensive. We are heavily reliant on coal, and renewables are going to be complementary to fossil fuels, including gas. But coal is really important because we don't have gas in South Africa, and we have to produce baseload. So that's why it's really valuable for South African economy.
And what can South Africa's coal industry, or even the lawmakers of the country, do right now to ensure that South Africa can have a successful coal future?
Look, first of all, I think we as the coal industry, coal mining companies, we have to understand that coal is not going to stop anytime soon in South Africa. And we have to have the infrastructure related to build these mines, which has taken time and which is going to take time for the new mines. And if you don't plan it right from the beginning, then there will be a short of production, and there will be like a demand for coal. And if there's not enough production, that will increase the prices, which will not be good for Eskom. Hence, we have to sort of like know the facts that look, we have to carry on. We have to find a way, innovative way of creating mines and making the production available and making our negotiations with Eskom and potential buyers, either Sasol or export market traders or the end users, and make sure that like we have the coal supply for that demand. Otherwise, if we don't do that, like I said, it will push the prices up, and it will not be great for the economy, because we need cheap power in South Africa to be able to create jobs. So one thing that we need to do after we accept the fact that there is a need for coal and we have to carry on developing mines, the most important thing is like we need to look at like how can we make sure that coal is burned with clean technologies. Because remember, the emissions are not generated during mining. Coal mining is as good as platinum mining or gold mining or manganese mining. The emissions are generated when coal is burned at a power station. So I think what industry and Eskom and the government should kind of discuss is like, what is Eskom going to do regarding burning the coal with clean coal technologies? And that will actually solve or eliminate the problem of like CO2 emissions and the other bad gases that are not wanted to be emitted. So that's the critical thing. If that's sorted, then burning coal is going to be as good as burning gas or making power out of nuclear power.